Hi guys, it's Aston. As you've seen in my thumbnail, um, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 6 men will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. And I just want to go on a kind of ranty sort of video against it because it's needless. What need is there for domestic abuse or any form of bullying, especially the ones you supposedly love, who love you? So if this is something that interests you in seeing, then keep watching. And also remember, all views and opinions are my own. I will not mention any names in this video, and we will keep it at that. So as you can see, I've already primed my eyes, just using concealer and excuse me, Corona. Going to get into the shade Heatwave in the Beautybay palette, and you can do this really messily because we're going to clean it up afterwards. So just laying that down here, like so. So basically there is a starting point for sort of domestic violence, and it tends to happen slowly because they're not going to show their true colours on the first or second day that you meet them. So for me, it started basically with like male friends messaging, and if there was kisses at the end of the message, or they appeared too friendly, such as like we had a close friendship. I used to hang about with boys a lot. Get into the shade, make them wink. So yeah, if there was kisses at the end of a message, he would be like, that's not what we do in adult relationships. Now take into account, he was 26 and I was 17, and he had been married before. Wait, I just put this down. Makeup can wait. Basically, yeah, so there was kisses at the end of a message, and he was like, this isn't what you do in adult relationships. And he's like, when you're committed to one person, it's one person only, and you don't have friends of the opposite sex. And I was like, right, okay. So I started cutting back on contact from male friends. So that alone shows that he was already trying to eliminate me from having friends. And then it moved on to females telling me things like, oh, I've got a bad feeling about her, and things like that. And you're like, okay, maybe he's got a point. We'll play it out and see what his point is. I keep forgetting what I'm going to say. I'm so nervous for this one. Then, as I stopped messaging people, I obviously started losing contact with friends. So my social circle was starting to be eliminated by him. And then it basically turned into turning it around on my family as well, telling me they don't really care for me. If they did, they would treat me better, even though the way they were treating me, there was nothing wrong with it. But it was just him trying to get me under his thumb so that I had no one, so that when he did abuse me, I had no one to run to and tell. So that happened, and then we went on a night out, and a bouncer had asked me if I was single, to which I replied no, and he got wind of it and didn't like it, and he took off home in a bad mood. So naturally I followed on afterwards in a taxi, and I got home, and I remember just opening the door, and his face was like absolute thunder. I mean, his eyes like were glowing like red. They were so bloodshot because he was so angry. And because obviously I didn't know he was violent at first, I was like, oh fuck this, and went to walk away. and he chased me up our close stairs and delivered his first hit to me, which was a punch in the face, giving me a black eye. The neighbours in the close were lovely and came to my aid, and I went to the police station, and that was when I made my first complaint. But the next day, I stupidly went down to collect my stuff, and he was giving me I was just drunk, I'm really sorry, it'll never ever happen again, I'm never like that. And I had no wind of his past at this point, so me completely unsuspecting, not knowing, gave in and gave another chance. And once you do that, this is the make-up period. It's like another honeymoon period where they're all so nice for a while, and they're basically biding their time before they can do it again. And they will do it again, because that's how abusers work. It's a cycle of tensions rising, or you're not performing like an absolute zoo monkey the way they want you to. Then there's the fight, the explosive part, which is the violence. And then there's the reconciliation, which is of course the forgiveness from the victim. And then there's the calm, and it'll repeat in a cycle like that. So I'm just blending this out with a navy shade called Stormy Night. So I've just blended that out a bit further, and I'm going to get into the shade Pacific Dreams. Now, I just coughed on my brush like, excuse me. Oh well, I'm only using it on me, not you. So, in between all this, there was name calling. I was often called a slag, ugly, fat, loads of different things, just on a regular basis. And he would always just say his anger got the better of him, or that I pushed his buttons and things like that. And you begin to believe it. You start thinking you are the problem and that they're not, that you're causing it. It's really easy to get into someone who is vulnerable enough to get into an abusive relationship's head, and that is no shame or shade to anyone who has been in one. You were vulnerable. They can like smell it out like a sniffer dog. So yeah, they prey on those vulnerabilities and make you feel worse than what you ever thought you could about yourself. And that is one of the tactics used, is preying on your vulnerabilities to lock you down so that you feel not good enough to go elsewhere, to make you feel like it's in your head to an extent. And they will make you think that you're going crazy. Your abuser will make you think you're going crazy, and it's as simple as that. There's no two ways about it. If you've ever been in one of these relationships, you will know exactly what I'm talking about as well. Just give me a wee minute, I'm just blending this out. Yeah, so I was called a lot of names in this time as well. Made to feel not good enough for him. He would often say things like, I could find anybody. Like, I can do so much better than you. Like, you're acting crazy. The things you make me do, I could have somebody else who could make me happy. You don't make me happy. And then you would try harder to fix it because you think you're the problem. And you're spending all this time trying to fix it when they're there to break you. Basically, the way I put it is, they are training you the way some people have trained dogs, or do train dogs. It's like the old slap on the snout to train you, or rubbing your face in shit to train you. And that's what they're doing. They're training you to be theirs. You are no longer a person while you're in this relationship to them. You are a possession. And it is as simple as that. You're no more than a possession in their game to make them feel good and in control. And that is what it comes down to, is control. That is why they abuse you. It isn't because they love you. It isn't because you push their buttons. Heck, it isn't even because you moan so much. It's a constant one I used to get. You know, I was moaning. You're not the problem, they are. If they feel that they need to raise their hands to you to teach you to behave differently, then they are the problem. You do not need to raise your hands. You do not need to beat someone into behaving a certain way. I was also made to dress completely different from what I always did. I am alternative. I have always been alternative. But with him, he told me that his friends would be embarrassed of hanging about with us with the way I look and things like that. So I was made to take out all my piercings and basically dress like an old woman, because if something was too short, too revealing, that was a no-go. You were not allowed to wear anything revealing, or else you were only out to get another man, because what they'll tell you is you don't need to impress them, so why do you need to dress like that? And it's nothing to do with impressing them. It's about impressing others, and they don't like the thought that you could do that. I'm not saying I want to impress others, I'm saying that is the issue for them, is that you could possibly want to impress others. Yeah, you know, because that's what I do. I plan my outfits out with the sole intention of impressing and attracting another mate. I already have one massive bully of one. Why would I want to have another one? Yeah, your knight in shining armour ain't going to come at this point, because you are too broken. Had to go there, had to put my brow on, because I looked stupid. And I also had to recollect my thoughts, because I felt like I was going off in a tangent, more so with anger directed at my ex, when really I'm trying to raise awareness to how it happens, why it happens, i.e. they want control. So I'll just talk a bit about my situation personally and try and keep it neutral. Basically, so I was called names and I was made to isolate from my friends, and eventually they left me and basically turned their backs on me, and I have no anger towards that, because they were put in a very difficult position. With abusive relationships comes getting your friends to lie for you. You'll do anything to save face and not admit to you, anyone else, that you're not being abused, and you'll try and get people to cover up for you. And I can completely understand why I lost people through it. That is fine, that was their choice. They couldn't handle what was happening and being dragged into the middle of such a messy situation, and it done me a favour in the long run. I learned who my true friends were, which was no one at that point, so that was great. Anyway, going off on a tangent again. So it slowly built up. That night I told you about was the first hit, and then afterwards it became a more regular reoccurring theme, such as I would do something wrong, say something wrong, and I would get hit for it. It was as simple as that. There's no nicer way and possibly voice what happened to me, but I was beaten, and I was basically trained to be his idea of the perfect woman who would abide by his rules. Oh, excuse me, just so after I was trained into this ideal woman of his, where I would do and say nothing wrong because I knew the repercussions were going to be another beating, another hit, another session of, let's call, asking as many names as we possibly can, just to see how many this time it will take to break her. Basically, I became too afraid to say or do anything or stand up for myself. And instead of seeking help, I tried to fix things, tried to make it better, I tried to behave better, tried to be better, blame myself. I felt like absolutely nothing. I mean, nothing. There is just something about this person that you think you love. You don't love them. It's just because they treat you so nice. Every single time that they have an incident, they will go back to being the perfect, sweet, charming chap that you met for a while, and you were like, you saw this glimmer of hope. That is what they were giving you, is glimmers of hope that it could be better. And I clung to that a lot. That's a personal thing to me. I clung to that, like the thought I could make things better, make him better, and I'd fallen pregnant to him as well, and now have a 10-year-old daughter. So yeah, I tried to make things work, but obviously they were never going to. But in my head, I wanted it to. I wanted things to be better, of course. When you're bringing a child into the mix, you want things to be good for them. So I gave it my best try, and things only got worse when I was pregnant. Like, he would lock me in the house with absolutely no food. He would turn the electricity off because I was too short to reach the box to turn it back on. And then he would lock the door and go to work. And I became totally dependent on him because he took my finances away. I lost my job through him he came into my work and started a big riot with someone who had complimented one of my pictures, and I was just so embarrassed I couldn't go back. And that's what they want. I'm not dumb now. I can see what he was doing, playing the protective boyfriend. He was giving it all misconduct, and yeah, it probably was, but it's not for you to deal with. So there was an incident when I was pregnant, and my now husband had messaged me just saying, hey, how are you, on Bebo it was at the time, and I didn't reply, but he had saw it, and the anger that came from him that day was absolutely terrifying. I remember begging him not to hit me, and he said, hit you? I'm not going to hit you, I'm going to kill you. And he took a knife out and he held it against my throat like this and told me I better enjoy my last moments. And then he pulled it away and says I'm not even worth killing. That is how worthless I am. So that was quite a terrifying incident for me. Actual corona, no, I'm joking. Allergies. So yeah, that happened. There was an incident again when I was pregnant, I can't remember what had annoyed him that day. Could have been anything, to be fair. And he came in from work and I was lying on the couch and I'd said something back to him which he didn't like. And he got on top of me on the couch. This is one of the ones he was actually jailed for. And he started choking me until I passed out, almost, being the key word. And for that first time, and the whole time we'd been together, like 18 months by this point, and I was being beaten daily, or if not, at least weekly, every single week. I picked up an item off the floor, I think it was a plate or something like that, as stupid as that sounds, and I hit him over the back with it. I fought back, and that made things so much worse. I was taken around that house by the hair. I was knocked lumps out of. I was told I will never be hitting him back again, and he would make sure of it. So, basically, people always ask you why you stayed with them, and I'm going to explain it as best as I can. Basically, you become so used to being an object. All you become is useful to this person, and they will take everything away that would normally get someone by in life, their friends, their finances, their home, everything. And that could be said about me. Everything was taken away. So with nothing, I was absolutely scared to leave what I'd known. It's what I'd known. It was my first sort of adult relationship, and I was just so desperate by this point, like, for those nice moments that we did have to be a more consistent thing. So I tried to make it work, and people often say, but they were hitting you. And as I said previously in the video, it's like a dog getting trained off some people. I'll insert some people. Basically, a dog will always be loyal to its owner, no matter what they do, which is absolutely tragic, but it's true. And same goes for a partner of domestic violence. Excuse me. It isn't something you'll actually ever understand until you've been in it. But that's the only way I can explain it, is like a loyal dog. You haven't caused any problems. You don't hate them. You aren't hurting them. Sorry, excuse me. I had a wee eyelash in my eye. You aren't hurting them. You aren't causing the damage. They are. So why is everyone so quick to ask the victim why they stayed? Why don't you ask the abuser why they abused? Wouldn't that be such a more perfectly suitable question? Because I think it would. I'm trying to think of other incidents. Like, my mind just goes blank nowadays when it comes to actually thinking of anything, even though it was so relentless. Like, there's things here that I wish I could talk about, such as sexual abuse and spousal rape. However, he was not convicted of these things, and I don't feel comfortable publicly airing it. All I can say is, he who shall not be named made me part of the Me Too movement. And One day I may speak specifically on that. I may seek legal advice first before I do that. Hopefully if I don't mention any names, I can talk about it. But I'll find out for sure and definitely keep you all updated. So yeah, 1 in 4 women experience domestic violence in their lifetime, and 1 in 6 men. That is crazy statistics. Stop bullying. Stop bullying your partners. Stop bullying people. There is just no need for it. Like, there's so many people in the world. Like, there's enough love to go around. We don't need to hurt each other. It is just absolutely madness. So what I'm doing here is I'm just creating a liner by sticking the shade Oasis over concealer, and then I'll go in with black liner and it'll look like a green kind of outline. That's kind of what I'm going for. So yeah, there is enough people in this world, and if we all just loved each other properly, that little bit more and better, it would be a fucking fine place to live. Minus all the terrorist attacks and bombings and everything else, minus all that, because I can't do anything about that. But if my voice can reach somebody who is feeling like lifting their hand, but is actually thinking about it, don't do it. Because you are going to take someone's life away without killing them. It is as simple as that. You will. And that is how I felt. I felt like, although I was alive, I wasn't living. It wasn't a life. And it was no way to live, being in fear every day of being human. And that is how you're made to feel. You're scared of being a human fucking being. It is not cool. Don't do it. I've got 2 moments, you know me by now. I suck at liner, so I try to be as quiet as I possibly can when I'm doing it. Also, ladies, stop hitting your men. Stop it. I don't care if they're liars, cheats, anything in between, absolute scumbags. I don't care. Don't raise your hand. They didn't deserve it, because that's exactly what is said about us female victims when we are attacked. They deserved it. They were pushing my buttons. They were winding me up. She cheated on me. She done this. She done that. I'm not speaking for myself. I'm just talking in general, some of the excuses I have heard. I don't care what they have done. You do not need to resort to violence. And ladies, because they're a man, doesn't make them any more deserving of it, no matter what they do. There is no excusable, justifiable reason why you should hit a man. Right? Don't hit. Don't be a fucking bully. Because you know what I hate more than in this world is bullies. Okay, it's maybe not the most hated thing, there's other things I hate more. Definitely a bunch of criminals that I hate more, right? But bullying is one of the worst. It is such a horrendous act. It is needless. Absolutely fucking needless. especially towards your own partner. Listen to me getting angry. It makes me so angry. No need. Stop it. Stop. Okay, so I've just put my lips on. I've used the Peaches and Cream liner and Jeffree Star Mannequin. I'm just going to do my under eyes while I'm here. I've got my lashes drying, so I'm free to talk a little bit. Basically, my ex was jailed for 27 months for the abuse of me and another girl. And yes, I know you're all going to cry out, it wasn't long enough, it wasn't anything, like, and it isn't long enough for someone who put us through hell for years combined. However, after all the times he told me that no one would believe me, that he was RAF, yeah, he was ex-RAF and no one would believe me, I'm just a daft wee girl, it was closure that he was found guilty. Even just getting found guilty filled me with so much happiness. Like, finally, after what had been 8 years or something before I finally went forward, he was found guilty after all those years. Guilty? After no one believing the extent of it, no one understanding that it could have possibly been as bad as I say if I'd stuck around. And I heard it all. I really did. I heard it all. And I got and took so much closure and pleasure away that day he was found guilty. And as I said, I know these crimes deserve longer. But that is just my thinking behind it. I am just so grateful that a whole jury in a high court found him guilty. What else could you want after never thinking you'd be believed? I didn't even think be believed in the court. I was a nervous wreck. I was shaking so much that the judge asked me to sit down. You normally stand in court as a witness unless you have like medical issues which require that you can't stand. Yeah, I was shaking that much. I was just so nervous. I had a million thoughts going through my head of what if he is not found guilty, and all this was for nothing, and I am overreacting. Even after all those years, I still worried that I was the issue. That is how damaged an abusive relationship leaves you. And people turn around and ask you why you didn't leave. That is how harmful they are to your mental health. And you will know if you've ever been in one. And I'm guessing some of yous who are watching have been. And I am so sorry. I am so sorry that you have went through it. And my lash is sticking to my tweezer rather than my eyeball. I'll be back in a moment. Anyway, we're going to start wrapping up here. If you're here and watching this and you're in a domestically violent relationship, my inbox is again a safe space. Oh, this is the final look, by the way. My inbox is a safe space where just comment something daft, like say it's a lovely day out there and I'll help you. I don't just find a way, alright? I have resources and numbers, and I'm a good person to talk to. If it's just a chat you need, I'm not going to judge you for being in a relationship. I'm not going to judge you for wanting to stay in a relationship. That's not what I'm about. I'm about helping you through whatever you're going through. That is just my goal in life, is to help others. If you're not and you're just interested in a part of my story and you would like me to speak more about it, let me know. because I can definitely get into more detail. However, this is more just of a ranty sort of get it out there like sort of video. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I know I went off on a tangent a lot, but that's me. Thanks for watching. Bye.